Hey friends, Pastor Bill Walden here with Build Up the Church. This is a devotional word for April 29, 2024, and we are in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 22. We're going to be starting to look at the story starting at verse 54. Prior to this, Jesus has been arrested, he's been interrogated, he's been mistreated by the temple guards and those who were connected to the leadership in the temple. He's being transferred now to a more legitimate trial. The night trial previously was illegal, but they had to have some kind of so-called legitimate trial during the day, and so now he's being walked over to a new location. We see Peter. Peter's following him. We don't see the other 10. Judas, of course, has already betrayed Jesus, so he's not in the picture. The other 10 have fled, as Jesus said they would. But we see Peter kind of in a no man's land, following at a distance. We commend him because he is there, at least he's interested. He's taking a chance to be sure. But he has also created perhaps a safe space for himself where he can escape if he needs to. So he's in that in-between place, in that place of you can go or you can stay, and whatever happens is going to determine that. We pick up the story in verse 54. Having arrested Jesus, they led him and brought him into the high priest's house, and Peter followed at a distance. Once again, we commend Peter on the one hand because he is still there, but on the other hand, we're going to see that he falters. He doesn't fall away from his faith. He doesn't completely fall away from Jesus. Jesus had predicted that Peter would deny him 3 times before the rooster crows. But Jesus had told Peter, when you return, Peter, strengthen your brethren. So Jesus predicted that he would deny him, but that he would return, and that he should not stay solitary in his sorrow, but that he should go and console and encourage his brothers. So Peter followed at a distance, and verse 55, now when they had kindled a fire in the midst of the courtyard and sat down together, Peter sat among them. So some people would say he's sitting among the enemy. I would say he's sitting at least among the indifferent. Those are people that are not for Jesus. There's no indication that they're apparently against Jesus. We don't know who they are. But Peter's just there. He's sitting with people that apparently don't care or have minimal interest. And a certain servant girl, seeing him as he sat by the fire, looked intently at him and said, this man was also with him. So this little gal, this little servant girl, studies Peter. She looks intently at him. And Peter says, woman, I do not know him. So Jesus here is denied by Peter. Peter denies the Lord that he does not have a relationship with Jesus. After a little while, another saw him and said, you also are one of them. But Peter said, man, I am not. The equivalent for us would be, you know Jesus, and we might say, no, I don't. Oh, you're one of those Christians. No, I'm not. I don't know him, and I'm not one of them. Thirdly, then after about an hour had passed, another confidently affirmed, saying, surely this fellow was with him, for he is a Galilean. But Peter said, man, I do not know what you are saying. The Galileans had a distinct accent, and they could be easily identified. And so he's now even denying his own ethnic roots and his own cultural roots. He just doesn't want to be connected to Jesus. He doesn't want to be guilty by association. He has progressively distanced himself because of fear and because of self-preservation. I've probably done that to some degree. In an awkward moment, minimized my commitment to Jesus Christ. In an awkward moment, skipped over an opportunity to speak up about Jesus and instead just kind of played dumb and looked down at the floor and kicked the dirt. If you're a Christ follower, there's a good chance that you've done it too. But I love that Jesus had said previously, I know you're going to deny me 3 times before the rooster crows, but when you return, you're going to deny me, you're going to falter, but you're not going to fall away. When you return, strengthen your brethren. Now this is coming true. Peter declared he would never cross a certain line, but now he's crossed it 3 times. How confident we can be sometimes about our own commitment to God. until the pressure is really, really on. And no doubt the pressure was on here. Peter was afraid for his life. May we not be confident in our own ability to maintain right standing before men. May we be confident in God's grace. May we be more concerned with what God thinks than what man thinks. Immediately, while he was speaking, the rooster crowed. Peter's heart must have sunk like a heavy rock into the ocean. And the Lord turned and looked at Peter. Across that courtyard, across that fire where people were gathered, Jesus heard the rooster crow, and he started scanning the crowd because he knew what that meant. He expected to see Peter, and they locked eyes. Then Peter remembered the word of the Lord, how he had said to him before the rooster crows, "You will deny me 3 times." So Peter went out and wept bitterly. Once again, I have to confess, I haven't denied Christ like that, but I haven't been in the same circumstances that Peter was in. I probably could have. But the fact is this, Jesus never quit loving Peter. Peter wept bitterly. I'm sure he hated himself and maybe even wanted to end his own life at this point. We don't know. He was so confident that he would never cross the line that he crossed. And he not only crossed it once, he crossed it 3 times. But Jesus looked at him and loved him and had already told him, "Peter, you're going to come back. You're going to come back. It's going to be okay. Strengthen your brethren." So, what's the takeaway on this story? Let's realize our own weaknesses. Our weaknesses are not excuses for faltering in faith, that's for sure. But it says in the Psalms, as a father pities his children, so the Lord pities us. He knows that we are just dust. We're frail. We falter. We don't speak up when we should, and we sometimes say things that we shouldn't. We do things we shouldn't, and we miss doing things that we should. I thank God that he doesn't accept me based upon any kind of perfect performance on my part, but he accepts me because Christ has died for my sins, including the ones of denial, or at least minimal denial or indifference in front of certain people. And so far, by God's grace, I have kept coming back, and I have tried to keep strengthening my brothers and sisters and people in the world. And so if you're a Christ follower, just keep coming back. Just keep coming back. So, some things for you to think about. God loves you. Keep coming back. Thanks for watching.